Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we are completely dismantling the expensive, incredibly stressful investing myths that are actively, yet totally silently, draining your wealth. We're going to strip away all the complicated noise of the financial industry and replace it with the shockingly simple math of early retirement. Because honestly, this isn't about getting lucky. It's just about seeing the numbers for what they actually are. So get ready, because we are absolutely going to change the way you look at your money forever. Okay, let's kick things off with a massive number, $340,000. This is the exact amount of money that a supposedly tiny advisor fee just costs an average investor, let's call him Tyler, over the lifetime of his portfolio. Now, Tyler thought he was paying a completely reasonable price for expert guidance, a friendly handshake, and, maybe a quarterly email. What he didn't realize was that he was essentially handing over the price of an entire house. And honestly, the craziest part about this whole thing, Tyler paid it happily. Why? Because it was just a 1% fee. Literally, a single penny out of every dollar. It sounds like a harmless rounding error, right? But here is the brutal, undeniable truth of the math. When you compound a 1% fee over 30 years, it actively destroys your net worth. It compounds against you with the exact same gravitational force that returns compound for you. Tyler's portfolio could have easily been $2 million. Instead, it was $1.5 million. So that brings us right to Section 1, expensive myths costing you thousands. We really need to uncover the massive traps and expensive lies that the financial industry has completely normalized. Take the market timing myth, for instance. Look at Sarah and Tyler. They both start with $10,000 right before the year 2000 dot-com crash. Well, Tyler panicked. He pulled his money out, waiting for that perfect magical time to get back in. Sarah? She literally did nothing. She ignored her portfolio for 20 years, sleeping right through multiple historic crashes. And the result? Sarah nearly doubled Tyler's returns, walking away with over $30,000, while Tyler limped across the finish line with just $17,000. All because he tried to outsmart a market that didn't even notice his clever timing. And this introduces a massive paradigm shift we need to make today, the profound difference between your emotional math and actual math. Emotional math screams at you. It tells you to sell during a terrifying market crash or to frantically kill off all your low-interest debt because, well, it just feels safer. But actual math entirely ignores your gut. It relies on compounding, cold hard long-term data, and historical returns to actually build wealth. Take debt, for example. Tyler had $20,000 in student loans sitting at a totally manageable 4% interest rate. His emotional math told him to aggressively pay off those loans before investing a single dime. And sure, it felt incredibly responsible, but the actual math shows that redirecting his extra $500 a month into that cheap debt, instead of just letting it compound in the market, cost him a staggering $170,000 in lost wealth over 30 years. By attacking cheap debt, he completely sacrificed his most powerful early compounding dollars. Now for the ultimate asset class smackdown. Everyone so confidently repeats the old adages that your primary home or gold are the absolute safest bets you can make. But the actual math proves them wrong. While real estate and gold generally hover around a 1 to 1.5% return after you factor in inflation, property taxes, maintenance, and all the fees, a totally boring index fund tracking the S&P 500 absolutely towers over them. It crushes them both over time with an average 7% inflation-adjusted return. All right, moving right along to Section 2, a tale of two retirements. So if beating the system is really just about trusting actual math, let's see how this plays out in the real world with two very similar guys from Columbus, Ohio, Marcus and Derek. At age 24, they were identical, grew up on the same street, had the exact same education, and started with the exact same $52,000 salary with zero inheritance. But at age 26, Derek made one incredibly crucial move. He automated a 28% savings rate straight into an index fund. By age 30, you can already see this massive gap forming. Derek is pulling ahead to $87,000, while Marcus is sitting at just $6,000. Fast forward to age 40, that single automated decision created an $800,000 wealth gap. Derek hit $847,000, while Marcus, who kept waiting for the perfect time to get serious, was stuck at just $52,000. Listen, the crucial takeaway here is that early retirement is absolutely not reserved for elite tech executives or trust fund kids. It is quite literally just a math problem, one that the financial industry desperately hopes you never figure out. Derek didn't even earn significantly more than Marcus. His peak salary was just $74,000. He just solved the math problem early. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3,
The math of escaping early.
Okay, let's give you the exact escape plan to figure out your own early retirement. Pay really close attention to this, especially if you're sitting there, maybe somewhere between 32 and 52, quietly fearing that the window is already closed on you. It hasn't. Your timeline is still an incredible asset. To find out exactly how much you need to never work again, we use the absolute foundation of early retirement math, the 4% rule. It basically states you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year. To find out how big that portfolio needs to be, we use 3 incredibly simple steps to calculate your exact FIRE number. That's financial independence, retire early. Step 1, figure out your annual expenses. Step 2, apply the multiplier. Step 3, boom, that is your exact target.
And that magic multiplier? It's simply 25. Meaning if you spend $48,000 a year, your target isn't some vague, terrifying multi-million-dollar guess that's going to keep you chained to a desk until you're 70. It is exactly $1.2 million. Once you have that precise number, retirement transforms from a scary, looming mystery into a totally solvable countdown.
Now look how powerfully your savings rate actually compresses time. At a standard 10% savings rate, assuming a $65,000 income, you are basically trapped working for 46 long years to hit that $1.2 million mark, placing your retirement age at a very typical 70 years old. But drop your gaze down to that 40% row. By simply optimizing your lifestyle to save $20,400 a year, you hit your exact target in just 20 years, retiring at age 44. This proves mathematically that your savings rate matters so much more than your income.
And to fuel this massive compounding machine, you really don't need to pick the perfect stocks. You just need boring, low-cost index funds. Look at Vanguard's VTSAX. It charges just 0.04% compared to active funds charging 0.70%. Being perfectly average in the stock market actually beats 90% of professional, highly paid fund managers. Plus, it saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars in hidden fees over your lifetime. Boring wins. It literally wins every single time.
So, let's put this all together into an actual concrete escape plan. If you follow these specific rules, you take your timeline entirely into your own hands. First off, calculate your actual FIRE number today so you have a real, tangible target. Then, really focus on optimizing your savings rate, not just your income. Try doing things like capturing 50% of every single raise before lifestyle inflation even sets in. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Starting with $200 today mathematically beats $500 in 5 years. Make those low-cost index funds your absolute default setting. And finally, learn about tools like the Roth conversion ladder. It allows you to strategically access your traditional retirement funds completely penalty-free long before the traditional age of 59 and a half. The IRS literally built this door into the tax code. You just kind of have to know it's there.
You know, the financial industry makes a fortune by keeping these concepts obscure and making you feel like you absolutely need them to survive. But this quote right here, it perfectly summarizes the truth. Most people don't need a massive windfall or some crazy executive salary to retire early. Changing how much of your own income you actually keep is the ultimate unapologetic lever for your personal freedom.
Remember, it is absolutely not too late, and the window hasn't closed on you. Your timeline is an amazing asset, but only if you take action. So the only thing left to ask yourself today is this: are you going to stay trapped by emotional math, letting fear and industry myths dictate your future? Or are you going to sit down, open a spreadsheet, and run the actual numbers? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Go start running those numbers and take your freedom back.